So we're going to continue with our self-defense series. We're going to do something a little bit different. I'm not sure a lot of you have ever even thought about this, but I know this was brought up in the first school I trained in, and some of the techniques that were taught were great. I added to the catalog a little bit, all right? But defense against the handshake. You say, well, why would I have to defend against the handshake? Well, simple thing, right? What if you're at some place and you've gotten to a verbal confrontation with someone, okay? And the guy extends his hand and says, listen, man, I don't want any trouble. And now he comes in and just goes to, so he's got one of your hands and now he's punching you with the other one, right? And you say, oh, and listen, this kind of stuff happens all the time, okay? So I'll give you for instance. If you're a bouncer working a door, this is something you 100% have to be aware of. If you're in law enforcement and you're a cop that decides to shake hands with people, you better be aware of this, okay? So I'll be brutally honest with you. Unless you were the victim of a crime, I'm not shaking your hands. And I had plenty of people who I wrote a summons to, who were like, officer, whatever, went to shake my hands, and I explained to them right out, I'm sorry, I don't shake hands, all right? And I didn't shake hands with people for multiple reasons. One, because now they have control of my hand, right? And which hand is it? It's my gun hand, okay? Two, right? I don't know where that hand's been. I don't know what it's been touching, what this guy has. I'm sorry, I'm just not shaking your hands. So a lot of people get angry with cops. Oh, you're not going to shake my hand? Yeah, I'm not going to shake your hand, okay? And if you get upset by that, you don't understand what that particular job entails, okay? So yeah, now if you're a complainant and you're in the command, and I have the criminal, and now you're getting ready to leave, I've taken your statement, and you're thanking me for helping you, sure, I'll shake your hand. I'll go wash my hand immediately, but I'll shake your hand, okay? So a little bit different. Have I had victims of crime give me a hug? Yes, I've had victims of crime give me a hug, thanking me. Okay. But if you're a criminal, I'm not shaking your hand. And if I'm a bouncer working a door, I'd be very careful about shaking hands, okay? So, first things first, we shake hands, all right? Gary decides to rear back to throw a punch at me. I pull this arm forward. Now, as I pull it forward, as he rears back, I can move behind him. So always remember, if this shoulder comes forward, this shoulder has to go back. Now, I'm not if this was real, I'd be trying to yank Gary's arm out of the socket, all right? But I'm not doing that. I'm giving a good shot. Okay, so that's one. But we can add to this now, right? So how do we add to it, okay? So Gary goes to punch, right? Now I pull and I take the elbow. I come up from underneath with the elbow. Now, I also have a technique here. And again, I'm using that grip, and Gary's going to tell you there's a nerve right here in this part of his hand, and if you play around with the grip, you'll get it, and once you get it, Gary will tell you he likes me pressing on that less than his wrist or his elbow. This is very painful, okay? And I can come up underneath like this and gain control, all right, and hold him, all right? And again, I got Gary on his toes here, okay? So you've got to work on the spot on the elbow, the grip here. You look here, you see close. See that spot? And then it's the same thing, that pinky and those fingers are gripping, and then everything grips and this turns up. I can also attack the fingers. So if you slide down, you can grab the fingers, and now you're doing a finger technique. So it looks like that. So you can do either one. Okay? So that's if he goes to punch you. Another thing you can do is if he goes to punch, you can bring the arm up. So his own arm will block that punch. All right. So as he comes across here, and then I can come in here with the arm bar if I want. Okay. Or again, attack here if I want, whatever I want to do. Okay. Another one you could do, you can pull him by, wrap the arm around here, and now your hand grasps your own arm. And now Gary will tell you he doesn't like this one. Okay. Now, if I back out here, if I spin this way to my back and I drop to my right knee, I throw Gary right over my leg. And he'll hit the floor very hard. It's a technique we do in jiu-jitsu, okay? So again, you can come around and you could hit here, come around, wrap, And now you have the joint lock here. So I'm attacking the elbow and the wrist. Okay, I'm attacking both. All right. Okay, I could sweep, knock Gary backwards. You can play around and see what else you can do from there. Okay. So I had an uncle, Uncle Jack. Loved him to death. But I'd go over as a kid and he'd always crush my hand when I shook his hand when I got there to see him. Crush my hand, he'd squeeze it, right? He was a fireman, very strong guy. And then he started doing this thing where he'd take his noogie and he'd push it in the back of my hand, which hurt like hell, right? And, so as a kid, I couldn't do anything about it. But then I hit about 16 and I had a year of martial arts and I'd learned the handshake techniques. So sure enough, I go to Uncle Jack and Uncle Jack goes to crush my hand. And as he goes to crush my hand, I squeeze back and then I relax. And when I relax, I grab his thumb and I create a fulcrum and a lever. And what I do is I bend the thumb straight back into his body and I put my Uncle Jack on his knees. And I said, Uncle Jack, I love you, but I'm done with you doing that to me anymore. Clear? And he goes, yeah. I said, okay. And I let him back up. And Uncle Jack respected that. Why? Because he saw I could do it. And he's a full-grown man, and I'm 16 years old. So how'd I do that? So we're here. So the guy squeezes hard, right? And what I do is I squeeze back, and then I immediately relax my hand, and I wrap. So in this instance, I'm wrapping my forefinger around his thumb and placing the thumb here. And you can play around. You can do it with different fingers. You can see which one works for you. So now once I've got him here, now this is what I'm creating. So here's my fulcrum. Here's my lever, right? And I come here, right? And I bend straight back. Now, if I do this fast, is there a chance I break the thumb? Absolutely, there's a chance I break the thumb, okay? So obviously, if this is a family member, I'm not going to do it fast, okay? If it's someone I don't know who's trying to hurt me, yeah, I may do it fast, and I may take them right down, okay? So this here, and the action is this with the hand. So the action like this. So from the front, it's like this. It does this, and it turns over. So when I have him here, right, it turns over like this, and it goes straight back, okay? So again, here, he's crushing my hand. I come up, relax, and grab. And now I go straight back, okay? So might be able to do this one where he squeezes. I go to here, but maybe now I take the fingers. I slide and take the fingers, okay? So this thumb one also works on all the individual fingers for future Ubiwaza techniques. So this lever works on everything, okay? And again, what am I looking to do here? So, if it's someone at a party being a wise guy, trying to crush your hand, show off, whatever, maybe he's a big, strong guy, I just want to get out and say, hey, enough, okay? Let's knock it off, right? And usually, right, the guy has always done this. He's always crushed the person's hand, and the person says, oh, come on, man, come on. You don't got to squeeze it. Like, knock it off, right? No, I don't do that. I drop him with a thumb technique, okay? And then the guy's brain registers that, oh, if the little guy can drop me with two fingers, he can probably do more than that. And usually the guy calms down, right? All right. He doesn't escalate it past that. All right. I had an incident one time where I had three big guys. I happened to be working the door. This is long before I was a cop. And I didn't do this kind of work long. I just didn't like it, right? But I'm small. These are big guys. And the one guy, I told him, listen, no, you can't come in, whatever, right? And the one guy goes, all right, listen, man, let's forget about it. And when I went through that, he went to crush my hand. And I literally, and his two friends started laughing, and I dropped him. I put him on his knees, and I left him there. And I said, okay. And I looked at the other two guys. I said, are we done here? We're done, right? And again, the reptile brain, right, the predator brain, the three thought they were predators. But when the little guy drops the big guy with one finger and he's on the floor and he's like, oh, come on, don't break my thumb. The other two guys looking like, oh, this isn't normal, okay? And then they realize, maybe this isn't a good idea. And it was great. It diffused the situation. They left. And all he had was a little bit of a sore thumb because I didn't break it. I dropped him with control. Okay. So again, you're initially doing these techniques, be careful. You don't want to tear the ligaments in the thumb on students, on your training partners. Okay. Go slow, get a feel. Again, it's that push-pull. So this grip has to be in here tight, right? No space. So you see there's no space. So when I do this, right, he feels it right away. Okay. Remember, teach your students to tap as soon as they feel pain. Okay, that's something you want to embed in your students from day one. So they feel pain, they tap. What does that also do? That helps the guy that's doing the technique. He's not going to stop the technique until he hears the tap. He's not going to hear a tap in real combat. So in real combat, he's going to follow through. All right, and that's what we want. Okay. There's other ones we can do, all right? We can do, we can get kind of crazy with these, but these are simple, direct, really good ones, all right? And if you haven't worked against the handshake, again, surprise your students next week. Go into class and show some of these techniques. And I think you'll be pretty surprised at the reaction you'll get because most of them are like, oh, I never thought of that. Oh, I never thought a guy might shake my hand and try to strike me or do something, all right? So good luck with these, and I'll see you in the next video.